एक लड़की घर छोड़ के भाग जाती है। रीजन, उसने एक किताब पढ़ ली थी। क्यों भाग जाती है किताब पढ़कर वो? आइए देखते हैं।
So hello friends, I'm back to doing one of my favorite activities, which is hitting the road and discussing a book. So today I have with me someone who is a published travel and fashion influencer based out of Melbourne. She's also a winner of Mazda Viribi Dancing Award 2023, and she has her face all across Victorian tourism. You must have seen her ads in MCG and Port Phillip Island. So I have with me none other than Deboshri. Hi Deboshri.
Hi Kushagra, how are you? Good morning everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. It's a Sunday morning and I'm with you discussing a book.
Yes, that's which book would you like to discuss?
Oh, it's a very good question, Kushagra. I remember you approached me a couple of weeks back and you were asking me, can I do a book review with you? And trust me, it made me think that, it's been ages that I have picked a book and actually sat and read it, to be very true. But deep down when I was thinking, there has been one book which has actually influenced the way my life has been.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to share what it has done to my life and how my life has turned ever since then.
Okay, wonderful. This is a life-changing book.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, so today I'm going to tell you, when I was in grade 10, we had this mandatory literature reading courses wherein we had to read Merchant of Venice Shakespeare. And coming from a convent education background, Shakespeare is a very important part of our not only curriculum but also literature. And if you can talk about a bit about Merchant of Venice Shakespeare, that would be good for the audience who has come on board and who hasn't read Merchant of Venice Shakespeare. That would be good for them to understand how this book has influenced somebody's life like me.
I'm glad that you picked up this play, basically, Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare. And it's a 16th century play, one of his most popular and influencer in the last 300 years. So many movies, they have been adapted from this magnificent play. Has a couple of central characters. One of them is Antonio. He is a very rich Christian merchant based in Venice. He is one of the key characters. In fact, that's what the play is based upon, Merchant of Venice. He has a very good friend, Bassanio, who is an ordinary middle-class person. The third character is Portia. She is a wealthy woman, moves across upper echelons of society. There are many suitors who try to woo her. Bassanio is in love with her. She also likes Bassanio, but kind of a little confused. So then there is a fourth character, Shylock. He is a Jewish moneylender. Again, I'm emphasizing Jewish moneylender, which I'm going to reveal very soon. He has a daughter, Jessica. Now, Jessica is in love with Lorenzo. Yeah. So, and she elopes with Lorenzo and also taking away Shylock's money with her. These are the central characters. So what happens is, because Bassanio wants to marry Portia, he asks Antonio for some help, and that's a financial help. He asks for 3,000 ducats. Now Antonio, being a merchant, his ships are actually far in sea, so he does not have the money to lend to Bassanio. So what he tells Bassanio is, take a loan from any money lender. He will pay it off when he has the money. So Bassanio goes to Shylock, basically asks for the loan. So the terms and conditions which Shylock gives to Bassanio, Antonio is not very happy about. So he goes and fights with Shylock, saying that your interest rates and your terms and conditions are very high, and that's not fair. So Shylock says that, okay, he's willing to reduce the interest rates, but Antonio is still not happy. So finally Shylock says that, okay, I'll loan 3,000 ducats to Bassanio, totally interest free, but I have one condition. And that condition is, if Antonio is not able to pay back the lent money on time, he will extract a pound of flesh from his body. Now this might sound very cruel, but that's exactly what it meant. That a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Now this is where this Christian merchant and Jewish moneylender comes into significance, because remember, it's the 16th century. So at that point of time, money lending was considered as a sin among Christians. So the people who used to be money lenders were Jewish people. There is also a reason why he wants to extract the money. It's because Jessica eloped with Lorenzo, who happens to be Christian, and she converts into Christianity. So he wants to extract revenge from Antonio to kind of punish the entire Christian community, for which he has a grudge about this. So there's a very high, intense religious, political, social angle in it. Now whether Antonio is able to repay the money or Shylock is able to extract pound of flesh, I leave it for you to read the play and find out. But we're going to discuss about one of the characters which Debashri likes. What are the portions, as you said, influence your life?
Okay, so as you said, Jessica is one of the characters. So during my grade 10, we were so much influenced by this play that we actually enacted the entire play during our school days, and I happened to play the character of Jessica in the actual portrayal of the stage show for Merchant of Venice.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jessica, as you know, she was heads over heel in love with Lorenzo, and she wanted to flee or elope with Lorenzo because she was the daughter of Shylock, and Shylock was a very cruel moneylender, Jewish moneylender, who had a lot of money but used to suppress the daughter, which is Jessica. And I come from a background wherein as a child or as a kid, I had a very strict kind of lifestyle, owing to the fact that I used to go to a convent school which was absolutely very disciplined, very suppressed, owing to the fact that you can't do things which you wanted, and of course because you have to follow a particular righteous path towards education and discipline. And at the same time, I'm not saying my dad was strict, but of course I did have a couple of things which I was not allowed to do. So I found myself in a very similar circumstances, which was social circumstances, and I could actually relate to Jessica. So when I enacted the actual act of eloping with Lorenzo, and I felt that I got into that character so much while climbing down the stairs and taking my dad's money, which is Shylock's money, and eloping with Lorenzo. That act got embedded in my subconscious mind so strongly that I actually eloped from my own house at the age of 16.
Wow. That's
I know.
That's quite a stunner.
Yeah, by the way, I did not elope with somebody because obviously, too shy, or maybe didn't have a boyfriend, or maybe not interested in eloping with somebody, but I eloped solo.
Okay. Yeah.
But having said that, it had a big impact. Obviously, I was caught because I was 16. I was caught at my best friend's house,
Okay.
and I was brought back. And I still managed to elope again at the age of 18.
Wow. माने ही नहीं है, मतलब आप मानोगे नहीं.
No, बिल्कुल नहीं. So when you came out and asked me about a book, trust me, Kushagra, I did not realize that this book actually influenced me so much that I took it as a path because I was suppressed. I was told not to do a particular kind of a thing. And being a revolt kid, that part of me, through this book came out channelized as a part of my personality, which I'm very thankful that I read this book and I enacted that part of being Jessica in the real world, wherein this Jessica actually eloped and found a very different path of life, which otherwise I would have never thought of being who I am today.
Oh no, that's quite a mind-blowing story. How did you find that courage to actually take this kind of decision?
Well, obviously it's because of the book, because as a kid or as an individual, whatever age you read a book, they really leave a lot of imprints on your subconscious and unconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe consciously I was not knowing I was following that character of running away, because that elopement act, it was a particular act or a chapter in that novel which I had to enact, and it was a 45-minute actual stage show which I had to do, where I was conversing with Lorenzo and telling that I have to run away with you, I am in love with you, I am not going to get suppressed by my dad, Shylock, and this is my path. I'll convert to Christianity and I'll run away. So I told myself subconsciously that probably this is the way I can change something in my life. I can break the shackles of the norms of the society, what the society wants from a woman. Maybe get married, have kids, do a government job, come home, wear a sari, go to bed, wake up again. So, but that fitting into that society was something which I revolted, and that was exactly what Jessica wanted. I do not wanted to fit into terms and condition what my daddy wanted, which is Shylock. Coming to your question of where did I get that courage? Well, I was thinking I was Jessica, so I got the courage instantly.
Yes, but Jessica was able to muster that courage because she eloped with a man. Now you eloped, solo. So Jessica's character over the years have been critically reviewed, and the perception has changed dramatically.
Yep.
Like earlier, Jessica was actually considered almost a vamp, like who stole her father's money. But over the years, it's also Jessica is also a symbol of liberation.
Yes.
So the perspective towards Jessica has changed tremendously over the last several years.
Yes, that's true. Well, people will come with different opinions and perspective with their point of view. But as a reader who got influenced by a book, will definitely take the good part. I will always say books convince you or influence you in a very different way. Some take the positive side, some take the negative side. But how you influence, it's totally upon you. Me being just 16-year-old, I'm thankful that the book Merchant of Venice had influenced me in a very positive way, because I took those facts which I wanted to influence and do better to my life. And that's what had happened. Well, of course, running away solo was a big decision on my life, because I wanted to drastically and radically change certain social economic conditions of my life, because I wanted to be somebody who is independent, blatantly successful, want to see myself at a particular stature of a society, and be somebody whom the world doesn't call as somebody's daughter. So, of course, a woman can be termed as different ways by different group of social economical cluster of people, because everybody has their opinion, and I totally respect people. Some in my generation used to call me that she is bigadi hui. She is somebody who doesn't even give respect to her parents. Probably she's somebody who goes by her own flow. Somebody tells me, oh, she's blatantly independent. Wow, I want to be like her. So there are different sorts of people who will address you differently, and it's a part and parcel of growing up. I mean, we get influenced by several books we read, right? But people will come up and say that, okay, I fell in love with this woman because I read this book and she exactly fitted into that character. So consciously, subconsciously, we do get influenced. But when we dive deeper, when we have a conversation like this, then only we realize, oh yes, till the time you asked me, it's been 26 years ever since I read that book. I did not even realize that Merchant of Venice, that character Jessica, has influenced me to that degree that I actually thought I am Jessica.
Yes, no, that's a very fascinating, and I must say that kudos to your courage to be actually discussing this in such a transparent manner. So obviously, when you eloped, your family must have taken it quite badly. Has the things changed, or do they still hold that act as something which not in a favorable light, or are they now have they understood why you did it?
Yes, they
that would
totally.
Be very,
yeah, they totally understand. Now it's been a couple of years, of course, more than 25, 26 years ever since I have committed that crime or a sin. But yeah, they do understand, and they do respect that. Thankfully, that you have taken a step like that, and that's why, because ultimately everybody weighs you against success in life, right? Whether you take a drastic step which is good or which is bad against the society's eyes, ultimately you'll be judged where your current circumstances are, whether you're successful or whether you're doing something amazing, you're earning money, you're a common face, you're being successful in every sphere of your life, or you're doing something which is drastically very different, which you otherwise wouldn't have. So they're pretty happy that now when I speak to them, they say, yeah, you have always been a child who revolted. So it's something good that you did. And a lot of my sisters, cousin sisters, and also the people whom I speak to, they tell me, I wish I could be like you. I want a life like you. I tell them, like, look, it's very easy to phantomize a life for somebody who you see successful, but the path which you take is always very difficult. So it's not something which you want to, but subconsciously, unconsciously, if you take, trust me, if you follow the righteous path of where you want to be a blinkered horse, where you always see the goal, and I want to be somewhere, that's what I did. I always wanted to see myself somewhere where I am today, and that's what helped me. Of course, they don't blame me anymore. They say, good that you did, and that's a good thing to come back to. They don't have any regrets or anything bad about me after 26 years.
So as we discussed, Merchant of Venice is an excellent book. It gives you so much facets of the social structure, the political structure, the religious social measure, the class system in Europe at that time. If you want to understand history and how people basically thought at that point of time, it's an excellent book, and you would find a lot of similarities in a lot of stories you must have heard, a lot of movies you must have seen. Also, if you want to elope, that's also a good inspiration.
No, we are not insisting on people eloping, but yeah, if you want, you definitely can. Make sure you're an adult before eloping.
That's coming from someone who eloped at 16 years of age.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.